So let's have a lesson on this Lamento. This comes from my grade 4 repertoire lessons book. And in the book, there's a couple of pages of lesson material before you actually play the piece, just to help you prepare. But you can watch the videos for free, of course, and just pick up all the tips, especially if you have the piece already in a different book. But if you're interested in that book, there's a link for it underneath the video. So we're going to do a couple of things. We're going to do some note review. So just kind of checking out some of the notes on the fretboard to get more familiar with upper position notes, because that'll be needed in this level. And then we're going to play the melody on its own, which is fairly significant in this piece. And then we'll just do a walkthrough of the work. So let's start with an E natural minor scale. Natural minor scales, not harmonic minor or melodic minor, but natural minor scales just follow the key signature. So if there's one sharp in the key signature, in E minor, then you just play through the notes from E to E, in 2 octaves in this case, and just making sure there's an F sharp. You may want to say the note names out loud. There's one thing, you can practice scales for technique purposes, but for fingerboard knowledge, if you say it out loud, it's very helpful. So let's play a E natural minor scale, shifting up the first string. So I'll say it out loud. E, F sharp, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C, D, E. So you want to become familiar with that scale. And you could go back down if you want. But saying it out loud should be very helpful. So that's shifting up the first string. So when you shift up, just make sure your thumb's following your hand. So your arm just is moving your good hand position up. And then you're in 5th position, and then just in 10th position momentarily. So the next one, let's do the same scale, but let's shift up the 2nd string this time. This is just to become familiar with the guitar and the key signature. E, F sharp, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C, D, E. So shifting up the 2nd string. To 5th position, and then 10th position. Let's do another one. Let's shift up the 6th string only. So this is only a 1 octave scale, and we'll stay on the 6th string completely. E, F sharp, G, A, B, C, D, E, D, C, B, A, G, F sharp, E. In this piece, there's a B, so I included that scale as well. Now, there's one other thing. There's the interval of thirds in this piece. So sometimes when composers write melodies, they can sometimes add intervals to them. So in this case, instead of just going... he's adding the interval of a third. You don't have to know the music theory necessarily at this point. We're going to be covering that in a future book. But just know that this interval is a third, which in a melodic sense is just notes that are 3 apart in scale, right? So in the piece, it's this part. But we're going to play a whole scale in thirds. And we're just going to go up to the B here, and on this note here. So just to kind of not go way up the neck. So let's do that one more time. E natural minor in thirds up to a B. You could go higher, but for the purpose of today, we'll just stop at the B. And all the fingering and position marks are marked in the score there, in the lesson page. So now let's play the melody on its own, which is pretty significant in this piece. And it's not just an opportunity to shape and phrase your melodies. If you've been following my lessons, you know I push that a lot to work on shaping your melodies a lot. playing the melody on its own so you can get the ideal shaping, and then when you play it in the context of the piece to try to keep that ideal phrasing, right? In this case, it can also help you out with the rhythm a little bit. So it gives an opportunity to work on the rhythms. Now, in 6/8 time, usually you'll just feel it in 2, like 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. So I just feel the sway when I play this piece. But at first, you might want to count out loud in 6 just to make sure your timing is right. I'll just do that for the first line here, and then we'll just go over the rest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1. So it all kind of fits into those 2 beats per bar. Let's just play that first line, and then I'll talk about the glissando and stuff like that. Just feeling it in a basic swaying motion will really calm down all those beats, right? Instead of going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 constantly. Before we play through the whole melody, the glissandos in this piece, just that grace note, just crunch it into the 4th beat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I don't restrike the top note. The top C there, but you could if you wanted to. It's kind of awkward though, so I think that, especially at tempo, you get plenty of sound out of it. As long as you keep enough pressure and slide right to that spot, you'll hear that C nice and clearly. Now, when I do a glissando on those thirds though, sorry, I do restrike the thirds because it's at a fermata and it's a long note and it wants a little bit more sustain, so I do restrike that glissando. So let's go through the melody. And it starts again. This next part, we'll keep the thirds here. So 3rd position, 7th position, stay in 7th, 8th, and up to 12th position. That glissando, don't worry about getting it to ring out a lot. Just let it be, just let a little bit of glissando be heard there. It's just kind of like for expressive or romantic effect, but don't overdo it. There's no need to. So that's 3rd position, 7th, 7th, 8th, 12th, and then back to 1st. Bar 21, same passage. And then I play this part in 5th position, sliding down to 3rd. I don't think that's the way the composer did it, but I think it's pretty beneficial in this case because it allows those notes to be there while this gets the next bass note in the actual piece. So for now, we'll just do that. Those thirds again. Back to 1st. you're playing this melody on its own, just make sure you feel the beat in those spots, like thump, 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 thump. Just to make sure that you're playing it in the context of the rhythm of the piece. So work on that melody a lot on its own, and then let's just do a walkthrough of the piece. Bit of vibrato is really nice there, so just a back and forth on the finger, like, you know, your hand has to be really loose. Not a bumblebee fast, not too slow, but so when you play that passage there, 1 2 1 2 3 4 5 6 1. So just make sure that you feel the 6th beat and then you play that 16th note there. And that one there, that E occurs on the beat. And when you're counting it out, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so that D sharp is on the 5th beat, E on the 6th beat. So just, it's a little bit crunched together, it's a little bit fast, but just make sure you're feeling that nice beat and that sway to the main beats. Might seem like strange fingering here, but it's for the glissando. That way we can slide up with the 4th finger there. Rush it there. You might feel like it's jumpy, but just relax a little bit. Relax. Get it confidently. If you could break up the bass and the treble a little bit to help out. This is a repeat, essentially. So just as long as you want, although it happens quite a few times. Those are juicy parts, right? Like that F sharp resolves. So like a little bit of strong and then weak, right? Strong, resolve, then again. Passage there, bass, just make sure you're using that guide finger, it just slides down. It's actually pretty straightforward once you're familiar with it. Just that passage a lot. Same thing. Make a nice writ at the end. It's a very straightforward piece in texture, right? Melody is very clear. The accompaniment is these inner fingers most of the time. So a lot of the music is played with A on the melody and fingers on the accompaniment notes. And you pretty much keep that. There's sometimes when you repeat fingers. On some of the faster passages, I alternate. So like at the beginning, it's A. I do M-A. Instead of repeating the A finger, it's a little too fast to repeat a finger there. But whenever you have those chords, you'll be repeating right-hand fingers a little bit. There's, like the thing that makes this more in the grade 4 level instead of the grade 3 level is that more upper position notes, those passages in thirds, and just more finesse to the way that you accomplish the melody, pushing that melody to the forefront, navigating the guitar just a little bit more slurs. There's actually no barré, so that's helpful. But it's just a little bit more mature of a work, and it utilizes more of the guitar, so it's kind of like an increase in your guitar knowledge, but not necessarily in your playing techniques in any way. That said, as you play more mature repertoire, you'll want to play it with a more mature musicality. So make sure you work on that melody until you have it nice and shaped the way you want. And that you're just highlighting it and making all your accompaniment super soft, right? You don't want this. You don't want lots of accompaniment. Just highlight that melody, bury the accompaniment, have a good bass resonance though. Very romantic in flavor, so it can be quite expressive. So that's about it for that one. Just focus on the melody a lot and get to know those areas of the guitar by saying the note names out loud. And I think you can spend quite a bit of time with this piece becoming familiar with it. But once you're familiar with it, you just go out playing it as a beautiful melody.